Hey, if you're watching this, you just finished the free training and something clicked for you. So good job trusting your intuition, that gut instinct. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the 3 specific neurological conditions that are almost certainly driving your migraines and headaches. These are conditions that most doctors never test for and most treatments never touch. And I'm going to show you why your upcoming migraine and nervous system assessment call can give you more clarity about your migraines, your headaches, than any Google research session or any medical appointment that you've ever had. So watch this call all the way through. Okay, so let's dive in. So here is the real reason that your migraines are coming back. And it's not because the medications didn't work, or maybe some worked for a little while, but then they wore off. It's not because you weren't disciplined enough with diets or supplements. It's because none of those things ever touched the actual root cause. Think about it like this. Okay, so a weed in your garden that keeps coming back. You spray it, it's gone for a week. You pull it, it looks good for a few days. You may even cover it with mulch and it's out of sight, out of mind, but every time it returns because that root is still there. It's still alive, untouched, a few inches underneath the ground. That's your migraines and that's your headaches. So every medication, every injection, any supplement or neck specialist that you see is just a weed killer. It suppresses what you see and you feel with your symptoms. But that neurological root cause system, it's driving your migraines. And it's never been touched by any of those things you've tried before. And the roots that go unaddressed, they don't just sit still, they spread. And that's why most women I work with don't just have migraines, they also have digestive issues or energy crashes or brain fog or sleep problems or dizziness or cold hands or even in their feet. And sometimes even like random immune issues like random rashes or thyroids or even arthritis issues. And so they see all these different specialists and they all tell them that these issues or conditions are separate problems, but they're not. They're the same nervous system root system that is spreading silently while every treatment that you tried stayed on the surface. You weren't failing the treatments were failing you and your issue because they were never designed to fix what's actually broken at the root cause for you. So you're probably wondering by now, what the heck are these roots for me? And there are 3 of them. I see all 3 in different amounts in almost every person that comes to us with migraines for many years. And so condition number 1 is what we call central and peripheral sensitization. That's a mouthful. And what I want you to do is imagine your brain and your nervous system has a pain volume dial. So in healthy people, it sits at maybe like a 3 or a 4. But in someone who has the migraine condition or, frequent headaches, that dial has been slowly turned up over time. And now it's stuck at like an 8 or a 9. So now like lights, sounds, fragrances, they start to irritate you, even on like good days sometimes. And then when your dial gets even higher, everything feels louder. Pressure changes, temperature changes, exercise all start causing migraines and headaches. And then your scalp starts getting tender. Maybe putting your hair in a ponytail or glasses bother the side of your temples. And then things like weather changes or your hormones all start to trigger you. Maybe even foods become sensitive and trigger migraines sometimes. That is not bad luck. That's a sensitivity dial that's jammed too high and it's spreading outward. That weed has spread to other parts of your body's nervous system. And eventually it becomes sensitive to more and more things. This condition, it needs a reset, a genuine recalibration of an oversensitive nervous system to get it back to its baseline, not just more ways to mute it. Okay, so then we have condition number 2 we see so often, and this is another mouthful. It's called autonomic nervous system dysregulation. So your autonomic nervous system, it's different than what we just talked about. Your autonomic nervous system runs your body in the background. It controls like your digestion, your cardiovascular, like your heart and blood pressure and heart rate, your energy levels, your immune system, your sleep levels, and even like your brain or cognitive abilities. So when migraines go on long enough, that root system, it starts to spread into all of these other branches. Everyone's case looks slightly different, and many people have no idea it was all connected. But this is what you can expect. That's when people start to experience like gut issues like IBS or heartburn. And then your energy tanks, or you're wired and tired all the time. Like you're wired at night, yet you're exhausted, but you still are wired so you can't fall asleep. Or things like brain fog start to kick in and your memory and focus stop working like it used to. And then sleep gets messed up in many ways. And you start getting lightheaded and dizzy. And your hands might run cold all the time. And this can go so far that your immune system starts misfiring. You can get random rashes popping up or thyroid issues. But the important thing is that these aren't random separate issues. Your nervous system controls all of these systems in your body, and it comes because that weed has infected other parts, and now you have a dysregulated nervous system as a whole. And it goes way beyond just your head. This condition specifically needs regulation, neurologic regulation. And this comes from restoring your autonomic nervous system's ability to what we say, like govern the body the way it was designed to. So then we have the third and final condition, number 3, that is neuroplastic migraine syndrome. The best way I can explain this is that your brain learns whatever it's immersed in. Say you move to like a foreign country and within months you start picking up that language without even trying because you're just around it, you're immersed in it. Your brain has no filter about what it learns. It doesn't care if it's helpful or if it's harmful or if it's pain or no pain. That's how we can develop bad habits and good habits. It just sees what keeps showing up and it wires itself to produce more of it. In the neurology and neuroscience research world, we have a very famous saying called, "What fires together, wires together." This means that if your brain keeps firing these migraine or headache signals, it wires them for the long run. So if you've had migraines or headaches for more than just a few months, your brain has secretly started learning them as a pattern. And so the real telltale sign of this is when you see it in the inconsistencies or the incorrect, the false or mistakes. It's when the pain switches sides. Maybe one day it's on the left side, then it goes to the right, or maybe it changes character. Maybe some days it's stabbing, other days it's throbbing, or it might even move to your neck or to your jaw or your back or your shoulder sometimes. Or maybe it varies in intensity, even when the triggers seem the same. Like some days the weather causes a migraine, and then the other days it doesn't, or it's really mild. That variability or that inconsistency is the fingerprint of a learned pain pattern making mistakes. And interestingly, this condition often starts around a major stressor in life. So a few examples would be like a divorce or even marriage can be stressful because all the changes, or you're moving, or a job change, or loss of a loved one, or even trauma. We often see like the COVID pandemic can do that. Many things, but a big stressor sometimes cranks up the dial on this neuroplastic migraine syndrome. The research also shows this condition is especially common in people who are people pleasers, overachievers, or perfectionists. Because people who internalize everything, what's happening is your brain is secretly learning these migraine patterns and then reproducing them, getting stuck in this migraine mode or this headache mode. And this condition needs a full rewire where we teach the brain to unlearn what it's picked up and then build new, correct, and healthy neural pathways that support a life without migraines. Now, that science is probably a little deep for something that you've never heard before, so you may need to listen to that part 2 or 3 times. But here's why all of this actually like really matters. There are a ton of generic nervous system or brain retraining programs out there online. Some of them do like one thing reasonably well, but migraines are not a one thing problem. You now know that. These 3 conditions, they grew together over time. They have to be addressed together in the right sequence or the right order. You cannot rewire migraine patterns or brain retrain if the system is not regulated first. But you can't regulate your system if that central sensitization is still driving everything into overdrive. So when a general program ignores like two of these roots or even just one, it's going to fail you. Most women then blame themselves and they think they're broken. But you're not broken. You are not the problem. You were underserved by approaches that were never designed for the complexity that you were actually dealing with. And now you've seen and heard and learned about these three conditions. You probably recognize yourself in at least one of them, maybe two or three of them. But knowing these conditions exist is completely different from knowing which ones are active in your nervous system right now and how severe each one is. And that's the difference between having a map and knowing where you are on the map. This is exactly what our migraine nervous system assessment is designed to do. So on your call, your migraine coach will walk you through your history, through symptoms, through a nervous system profile, and then map out which of these three conditions are driving your situation and how far each has progressed and what realistic path forward looks like for you. These aren't generic health consultants. They're trained. They're trained specifically by me in this neuroscience and the assessment process. They're going to ask you questions that no neurologist has ever asked you and start connecting the dots that you didn't know were connected. And by the end of that conversation, you'll have more clarity about your migraines than any appointment you've ever had before. So come to your call ready, find a quiet space, no distractions, bring any questions this video raised, and come prepared to make a decision about whether this path is right for you. Because if your assessment shows what I expect it will, your coach will walk you through exactly what addressing all three conditions together could look like for your life. This is not a general consultation. It is a precision map of your nervous system, and it's built specifically for you. And it is the first step toward a life that is not organized around the next migraine. You are not a migraine person. You're someone whose nervous system learned something it didn't need to learn. And everything the nervous system has learned, it can unlearn. So come to your call. We'll see you there.